let's discuss 3 ways in which you can separate yourself from your thoughts. Because let's face it, you are not your thoughts. What's up, everyone? My name is Morcie, and if you're new to this channel is all about creating your own reality through your spiritual awakening process. And if you find that this resonates with you, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Now, when I finally knew, understood, and accepted the fact that I am not my thoughts, that was when I was able to consciously create my own reality. That was when I was able to consciously break through limiting beliefs and pull myself closer to my own natural expression. Because nothing is more liberating than being yourself, than expressing yourself exactly who you are. Now, the 3 things that I'm about to share with you have been incredibly monumental throughout my own spiritual awakening process. And I know it will do the same for you. So number 1, observe your thoughts. We have the ability to observe our thoughts. When you think about it, there's 2 of us. There's the observer and there's the thinker. But oftentimes we get caught up in thinking that we are only the thinker. But when we remember and become consciously aware of the fact that we are the observer, we're able to observe and then choose the thoughts that best serve us. And when you create the habit of choosing thoughts that serve you best, then you can consciously create the reality you desire. You can break through limiting beliefs. And you can finally start manifesting and materializing into your physical reality those things that you would like to experience. Now, thoughts are energy, and we are receivers and transmitters. So many times that thought energy that we receive doesn't belong to us. It belongs to a collective consciousness. An energy structure that is much bigger than us. An energy structure that is not a part of us. It was created through some other means of other people believing that. And the more people believe it, then the stronger it is. Vadim Zeland, he coined this term called pendulums. And I've actually created a video on pendulums, and I will put the link right here in this corner. But in a nutshell, pendulums are this separate, independent structure of energy. And this energy is created due to the fact that people have the same thought energy as others. So the parameters of their thoughts are the same. And the more people who believe that, the stronger the pendulum is. So when we think about the fact that we are not our thoughts and that pendulums have this influence on what we believe, pendulums, it only gives us so much. And we become dependent on this thought and idea, and we become too afraid to step out because fear of the unknown is something that we just don't want to deal with. Now, these pendulums control us because they give us very little and take back so much from us. So, for example, these pendulums give us the feeling of comfort. Why? Because we find comfort in our fear, believe it or not. Why? Because fear is something that we have always been used to. Fear is the oldest and strongest emotion for mankind. And it's important to know that now, in this time, the fears that humans needed years and years and centuries ago, we no longer need that fear anymore. So it's important for us to recognize what fears serve us in each moment. So the pendulum, it keeps us comfort in fear, and what it takes away from us is our ability to express ourselves naturally. It takes away our freedom. It takes away our ability to break out of those limiting beliefs and create our own reality. So choose to be consciously aware of the energy that you are receiving. Choose to observe it. Because remember, you are the observer. You are not just the thinker. Number 2, the second way in which you can separate yourself from your thoughts is to not give it a story. We love stories. I love stories. We all love a good story. And what happens is when we create a story in our mind and we don't know what to fill it in with, we just figure it out. Our mind creates a cool story to fill in that gap. And many times our mind loves to solve problems. So our mind will create a problem just to solve the problem. And that is what gives us anxiety. It's what gives us fear. It's what makes us feel like we are unable to do something, that we're not worthy, that we're not deserving. We become critical of ourselves. It just limits us because of the story that we tell ourselves. Now, when you think about a feeling, like when you're having a certain feeling, stories only intensify that feeling. So something that I have learned to do is to, when I have this feeling, this intense feeling, maybe it's anger or sadness or something that is just this low frequency vibration that is not allowing me to have an open mind, I stop for a second. I allow the energy to flow through me and out of me, and I do not give it a story. Whatever story that popped up in my mind, I don't think about it. I don't focus on it, nothing. And the energy just flows through me, and all of a sudden, it's gone. Problem is solved. And that's one of my techniques that has consistently worked with me. Now I create this habit to remind myself that the stories that I'm telling myself, it's just an illusion. It's just something I'm making up based on my own perception of reality. Because when we believe every thought that goes through our mind, it gets us nowhere. We are always stuck in the same spot of wanting to break out, but then we fall back into that. So I remind myself of that feeling. I remember the feeling, and when you remember the feeling of what fear does to you, of what a story does to you, of what those very limiting beliefs do to you, then what it does is it motivates you to push forward. It motivates you to push through to the unknown because you already know what fear does to you. You already know what giving things a story do to you. And that brings me to my next point. The last way in which you can separate yourself from your thoughts is to take action. Taking action has been one of the best and most consistent ways in which I push forward, in which I separate from myself from my thoughts. Because our subconscious, it holds old, outdated beliefs. Remember, fear is the oldest and strongest emotion. So when we're born, it's just ingrained in our subconscious, and then we're constantly it's fed to us throughout our own past. And we believe it based on what everybody is thinking. Remember the collective conscious and pendulums? We begin to believe those things based on what everyone is thinking. And we stop ourselves from taking action due to fear of the unknown. But when you push yourself, you take action, you can actually show yourself what is actually true rather than believing in that illusion. Now, I find that it's so important that we redefine vulnerability because it seems like vulnerability, everyone's afraid to be vulnerable, and it's okay, that's natural. But vulnerability means you're putting yourself in a place where you have the ability to change. Because if you're not allowing yourself to be vulnerable, then you're stuck in your comfort zone. And you're only doing what it is you always know. You cannot get the things that you cannot get different results by doing the same things all the time. You have to put yourself in a place of vulnerability. For me, vulnerability means courage. When I started creating videos, I had to put myself in a place of vulnerability. I didn't know what anyone would think. I was afraid of that. But once I finally continued to create videos and put myself in this place of vulnerability, I realized that my courage, it brought me to a new place in my life. It brought me to a new place where I can actually express myself. I broke out of the Pendulums influence and I said, I'm not going to believe you. Screw you. Because all you do is make me feel like I can't push forward. You make me feel like I cannot build my own life and create my own reality. So redefine vulnerability. I measure myself based on how often do I allow myself to be vulnerable so I can try new things, so I can show my conscious mind what is actually real, so I can kick out those old, outdated, limited beliefs and create new beliefs that are for me, that serve me best, that show me that I am deserving, that I am worthy. When you step out of that box by taking action, then the more you do it, the more normal it becomes. You're just used to it. Think about those people who are daredevils. They just do it because it gives them this sort of rush. And I'm not telling you to be a crazy daredevil and jump off of skyscrapers. But what I'm saying is be a daredevil in your own life. Just do things just because. Trial and error. Who cares? Because for me, I choose happiness. And what does not make me happy is fear. What does not make me happy is staying in my comfort zone. But what makes me incredibly happy is confronting my fear. Is transcending these low frequency thought energy, transcending these limiting beliefs. And finally showing myself what is real. Regardless of what I perceive the actual answer to be, for me, there's really no such thing as failure. There's more such thing as this is what you should do and this is what you shouldn't do, because this is not what's going to serve you. This isn't going to get you to where you want your reality to be. So when I take action, I have more ideas. I figure out what it is that I don't want, and then I start working on what it is that I do want. When I take action, I find myself in a flow state. And I find that I attract these things that I'm on the same level of that thought energy. You see, when you take action, you build up a sense of confidence and security in yourself. And you start to trust yourself because you're not sitting and believing these fake stories that your mind is creating. And you create a real story for yourself. You actually put in work. You actually start ascending in your own spiritual awakening process because you're getting to know yourself. You're getting to know what you like. Oftentimes we experience the opposite it is of who we are, so we can understand who it is that we actually are. So choose courage. Redefine vulnerability. Don't be afraid of it. Step out of your comfort zone. It doesn't matter what the answer will be, as long as you know what's real, as long as you know what you're capable of. Understand that more than likely you will find that you are limitless. Expand the parameters of your thoughts. Your thoughts create your reality. Your beliefs create your reality. When you take action, when you know that you have the ability to observe your thoughts, you are the observer and the thinker. You're not just a thinker. When you stop giving it a story, intensifying it, making yourself perceive this illusion, then and you take action, you start to create and build your own reality. You start to build the reality it is that you deserve to have. You reduce the anxiety, you reduce the fear. It's very possible. We're infinite spirits, we're limitless. So make the conscious choice to break out of your comfort zone, to allow yourself to be vulnerable so you can see what this world has to offer you. So you can see the ability of your own to remind yourself of who you truly are. Know that you have the ability to control your mind, and don't allow your mind to control you. If you like this video, Like, subscribe, comment down below. Talk to me about your thoughts. Talk to me about an instance when you separated yourself from your thoughts and you were able to perceive your reality with clarity. I hope this video resonated with you. And until next time, peace.